information. So if everyone can see, I have some extra copies afterwards if you need them, but I brought a flyer from the Greater Philadelphia Coalition Against Hunger, and they help with folks accessing SNAP benefits. But for folks who aren't eligible for SNAP benefits or folks who may not even want to go through that process, there are lots of other resources in the community that folks can access. And I'm just going to go over 3 of them very quickly. So on the first page, on the Save Money and Eat Healthier side, MANA is a great organization that they work with. Are some folks in the room familiar with MANA? Yeah? Okay, great. Great to see some hands. So for folks who aren't familiar, MANA works directly with folks who are living with chronic or life-threatening illnesses. So that's anything from diabetes, hypertension, cancer, if you're living with an HIV or AIDS diagnosis. What they do is they provide meals that cater to your specific diagnosis. So let's say if you're diabetic, they cater meals for you that are all low in sugar or have no sugar at all. Same thing with hypertension. They all have low sodium or no sodium in all of your meals. So what you do is you call the number on here and you schedule an assessment with one of their workers over there. They talk to you over the phone or in person. They kind of ask you what your diagnosis is, what your current diet is, if there's any advice that like your medical practitioner kind of gives you in terms of following your diet. And what they do is they cater, I think, up to 21 meals per month for folks, and it's all, like I said, catered to your diagnosis. So you get 21 meals a month. That's about like three meals, I think, a day for 3 weeks, or up to 4 weeks, yeah? So for folks, you know, who just really can't meet that gap, but can't eat certain foods that are provided in the supermarket or your corner store, MANA can help fill that gap for you, okay? So right underneath MANA, Fresh for All, which is hosted by Phil Abundance, the same folks that host the Senior Food Box programs. Are folks familiar with them as well? Phil Abundance? Okay. Phil Abundance. Yes, I see a question, sir. Oh, no? Okay. So Phil Abundance has this other great program called Fresh for All. And essentially what you do is you go to 2 of their sites. They have one in the Northeast and one in South Philly. And what you do is you bring like a shopping bag or a shopping cart, anything of that nature, and you can go and line up there and you can get fresh produce, so fresh fruits and vegetables straight off from the farm, all for free. And they don't require any photo ID, any proof of address, anything like that. You just basically need a cart or a bag to bring your produce home with you. Okay? And then the last one, which is in the back, is the Share Food program. And they are at 29th and Hunting Park, and essentially what you can do is you can pay $20 up front and you can do 2 hours of community service. And that definition of community service is really wide. It's anything from like babysitting kids or driving someone to the doctor, checking up on a neighbor perhaps. You fulfill those 2 hours of community service and you pay those $20 up front, and you get $50 worth of fresh produce with you to take home. Fresh groceries, I'm sorry. So that's fruits and vegetables. Also, sometimes they include meat for the holidays and things like that. So really a great way for folks to get like a full meal only for $20, $50 worth of groceries, all right? And you know, there are tons of other programs on the back. Philly Food Bucks is a great program through the Food Trust, where if you do have SNAP, if you are receiving SNAP benefits, you can take your card at 23 farmers markets throughout the city and use $5 in your benefits, and you get $2 back to use towards fruits and vegetables at the farmers markets. And there are similar programs like that throughout the city, but I know my time is running short, so I am going to end it there. And I'll be around afterwards if you have any questions about any of these programs, okay? Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Alesha Higgins. And just want to add, at the end, if you want to access the resource tables that are in the back, there's a lot of information, including, did you know that, okay, if you're 60 years old, your access or your eligibility for SNAP is different from when you were 59, 58, anything under 60. So that's really good to know, because someone, yes, let's say a single person living alone, making about $1,900 a month, who is 60, will be eligible for SNAP. So something to think about. One of the benefits of entering our golden years, right? So we are going to continue. Alesha, I think you may have my agenda. No problem. Thank you. No, that's fine. And now the next pillar of healthy aging is social engagement, being around good folks, right? And so, all right. Like this morning. And to speak about that, we have Cynthia Wichkowski. She's the Vice President of Aging Services at Journey's Way, the Aging Services Division of Intercommunity Action, or Interact. Journey's Way offers a wide array of innovative resources and programs for Philadelphians aged 55 plus. It serves to enrich their lives and their communities and support them through life's challenges and changes. Ms. Wichkowski has been invested in aging services for over 40 years. She received her BA from the University of Buffalo and a master's in social science administration from Case Western Reserve University, School of Applied Social Sciences, under a national grant in gerontology and mental health. She has developed aging and behavioral health programs in Cleveland, Israel, Western New York, and right here in Philadelphia. Ms. Wichkowski has been active on community boards and advisory committees, conducts training and consults with organizations interested in aging and program development. And personally, she's vitally aging along with her own participants. So welcome, Ms. Cynthia Wichkowski.
Thank you. Will you give me a heads up on time?
Sure.
Since I talk a lot. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So happy to be here with you. It's a pleasure to come and talk to you about social engagement since I've been involved in, along with Senator Park, Journey's Way as a partner agency across the river, and we do a lot of similar things. But one of the things we always know is that people don't always know that there's places to go and to begin to find new ways of recreating or to find purpose in one's life. So I want to spend a few minutes with you today to talk to you about what is social engagement and what I know about it, and then kind of we can hopefully explore a little bit together toward the end. Give me a heads up in time so that I know when I should wrap. Firstly, to know that social engagement is a strategy for aging well. It is one strategy that I think sometimes underpins all the strategies. So I want to explore that with you a little bit. So what is social engagement really? I see this as something leisure or activity-based. It's something that involves more than yourself, but it's also something that you have to develop a pattern around and invest in. And then there's also this, what is the frequency involvement? It's not enough to say I go to church and I see people there, but how often do you go to church? How often do you connect with the people that are there? It's also finding meaning and purpose in what we do. It's more than just seeing a face. It's also a personal investment in others as well as a receipt of that same kind of mutuality that gives us pleasure and quality of our lives. So it's mutually beneficial. And the methods of which can be varied, which we'll talk and explore about today. But it is definitely those aspects of things that bring the quality of our life. And it's also trying to weed out what's important in your life. It's a process of looking at avoiding toxic relationships and focusing in on those most quality of relationships that give you pleasure. I have to talk about Maggie Kuhn when I'm here because I always used to see her here at Senator Park. But I loved her statement of saying that, you know, one thing that's wonderful about growing older, there are a lot of losses and things we can talk about, but one of the wonderful things is that you truly can outlive your adversaries and focus in on those people that will give you a lot of pleasure in your life. And I think that's really a wonderful thing about having all these transitions we go through as we're older. We care a little less about what others think, and we focus in a little bit more about what is pleasurable and what is important in life. But social engagement is is really important in a research type of way. I want to share with you a little bit of research to just give some punch to what I'm saying. Physical and social activity, what Dr. Williams was talking about, are the keys to happy life, I believe. And sometimes they go together because it's more important to have the time together to do those things, and the motivation of which to do them comes from other people, not just only from ourselves. It's really hard some days to wake up and motivate to do what we know we need to do, but it's the others around you that help